Now, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has accused the Russian President Vladimir Putin of dangerous and reckless nuclear rhetoric. Stoltenberg warns that Putin's mobilization of thousands of extra troops for the war in Ukraine will only escalate this conflict further. Also emphasizing on how Putin's latest move demonstrates how the war is not going according to his plans. More in our next report.
This is dangerous and reckless nuclear rhetoric.
The chief of NATO on Wednesday said Russian President Vladimir Putin's thinly veiled threat to use nuclear weapons was, quote, dangerous and reckless.
He knows very well that a nuclear war should never be fought and cannot be won, and it will have unprecedented consequences for Russia.
In an exclusive interview, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg told Reuters editor-in-chief Alessandra Galloni that Putin will not win the war in Ukraine, despite his order to call up hundreds of thousands of extra troops in Russia's first mobilization since World War II.
The speech and the partial mobilization of the armed forces of Russia just demonstrate that he miscalculated, he made a big mistake, strategic mistake, and that's the reason why they know how to do this.
В своей агрессивной антироссийской политике Запад перешел всякую грань.
Putin earlier on Wednesday called up 300,000 reservists to fight in Ukraine and backed a plan to annex parts of that country. He also hinted a readiness to use nuclear weapons, saying, quote, if the territorial integrity of our country is threatened, we will use all available means to protect our people. This is not a bluff. The announcement followed mounting casualties and battlefield setbacks for Russian forces, who beat a humiliating retreat from parts of northeast Ukraine after Kiev launched a counteroffensive this month.
What does Ukraine need now, and what does the West need to give?
So we have stepped up both when it comes to the magnitude, but also the quality of the weapons we are providing.
But Stoltenberg was not optimistic the war in Ukraine would end anytime soon.
It's hard to see a solution in the short term as long as Russia doesn't accept that Ukraine is a sovereign independent nation. So I'm afraid that the only way to end this war is to prove that President Putin will not win on the battlefield. When he realizes that, he has to sit down and negotiate a reasonable agreement with Ukraine.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.